All right, everybody. Here we are. Again, together at last. I could not wait for this moment. I'm being serious. For this post-market wrap-up for Friday, November 2nd, 2018. You want to talk about a day that I believe every one of you that were following this market almost couldn't believe. Well, that was today, and I want to cover a lot of stuff with you here. So let's talk about all this. Stock, look, I'm losing the ability to talk here. That's how crazy and rattled I got from this day. Stock started off the day positive. Then, all of a sudden, we're getting all these conflicting views with regard to trade, what's going on with China. Market quickly reversed. And why? Because once news got out that it looked like there was no trade deal in sight, this point was pushed home by Larry Kudlow earlier in the day, which got completely contradicted later in the day by President Trump. And I want to talk about that too. But once this news came out, stocks reversed. And if you really were just looking at what the dollar was doing and the bond market, your mind would have been blown. And it literally demonstrated for you how important those two dynamics are when you're watching the stock market. You have to watch the dollar. You have to watch the bond market. The dollar, which was weaker earlier in the day, made a hard reversal stronger. Bond yields started to rise. Stocks fell. I mean, it's just so simple. And you know how this works. You know where to look. But let's look a little deeper into some of this. When Larry Kudlow was on CNBC today, and he was talking about a whole bunch of stuff, including trade talks, and he even went out of his way, it seemed, to talk about how the Federal Reserve should keep the easy money flowing into this market. You know, we've been hearing this from our president now. You know how I feel about this. We need to normalize rates. We need to normalize this market. If this really is a booming economy or a very strong economy, why does the Fed need to keep their foot to the floor? Why do we need accommodative monetary policy? It makes no sense to me. It shouldn't make any sense to you. The average guy or the average girl needs to start earning a real rate of return on their interest earning accounts. This is impossible with what the Federal Reserve is doing while the stock market inflates. It really seems, and I've never witnessed this before to this degree, and I would love to hear from you if you believe I'm wrong. Have you ever seen a president more obsessed with the stock market moving higher than this guy? No, I'm not putting the president down. I'm just stating a fact. I am literally nonpartisan, and that's why I can see things very, very clearly here. I don't care who sits in the pretty White House. I just want the right person in there. I'm not saying President Trump is not the right person. I do believe that Hillary would have been the wrong person, if that clarifies anything for you. But let's keep politics out of this. If you inject politics into a conversation, or religion for that matter, these two things are the great dividers, and it just keeps everyone at odds. And these are two things that are used as a weapon against the people to keep them divided. Do you understand? Since forever, this has been going on here, and it will not stop in modern times. So again, let's look at this. Larry Kudlow earlier today talking about trade war, how there's nothing on the table here right now. Market did not like that. We got a reversal in the dollar. We got bonds selling off. Stocks started to fall. Larry Kudlow talking about how the Fed should keep the easy money flowing into this market. And the only reason for that is to boost stock prices, to make CEOs richer. Do you realize that, I mean, it's incredible, but people don't pay attention to these things. Big Pharma, the Wall Street banks, the corporations are reaping profits like they have never seen before in the history of the world, despite the sell-off in Apple today. I mean, this is the truth. While the middle class sits here remaining stagnant, we get thrown the crumbs. And that's really the truth. The middle class always gets it, and it's not in a good way. Again, just look back at the 2008 meltdown if you need more proof. Not one high-level banker got arrested, a slap on the hand, nothing. They got rewarded. You and I bailed them out. Remember all that? Well, this is a setup that's been going on since time immemorial. I know you like when I say that, all of you people out here. It's the truth. So let's move a little bit forward here. So stocks started getting pounded. Dow went from up 200 to down 300 points. I just said, something's going to happen here. And you can check this on my social networks for the timestamps. I said, people, keep your eyes and ears open for some story to be floated out there regarding trade talks. And I mean like a half of an hour later, all of a sudden President Trump comes out on TV talking about how there's progress being made on trade talks. Meanwhile, again, earlier in the day, Kudlow said no. Unbelievable. And all of a sudden, stocks cut their losses in half. Again, it goes back to what I'm explaining to you. It's all about the stock market moving higher. It's all about look here, don't look here. There's going to be more of this moving forward. Again, understand, people, this is my biggest worry here. Let me back up a moment before I even get there. For those of you that are hoping for some type of a utopia, and I posted this earlier on my social networks, after the midterms, you are going to be very, very disappointed. It's just not going to happen no matter what happens. No matter if the Republicans keep the House, keep the Senate, no matter what happens, it's still going to be the same. Debts and deficits are going to explode to the upside. You're going to see more Federal Reserve easy money propping up this market for as far as the eye can see. And it's just going to be more of the same. Distortions across the spectrum of asset classes will continue. You will see distortions across the economic spectrum as well. These are two distinct and separate entities. What the stock market is doing is not reflective of the economy. Understand that? And with that said, anybody with a functioning brain cell knows this market is in bubble territory, being inflated by a debt bubble, which continues to get worse, which every single world leader, including our president, Larry Kudlow, wants to keep going. Inflate, inflate, and inflate. Who is benefiting from this? Is it you? Is it me? Well, me in a way, yeah, because I trade these stupid markets. Anybody that's involved in these markets, like I've been explaining to you, this is the gift that keeps on giving. So understand, I know what I'm talking about, and I'm not saying I'm not happy with the stock market. I had like 2 losing trades in the past 2 months. It's the truth. And how can I prove that? I post all my trades right on my website, traderschoice.net. So you know what I'm talking about. I'm not lying. With that said, I want a real market. I don't want a fake inflated market with easy money pouring in here, because the only people that are really benefiting, again, big pharma, the Wall Street banks, the CEOs of these corporations. Speaking of that, I would be willing to bet, and this is just a phenomenon of the market. The CEOs get paid in stock for the most part. You all know that. So they're going to make every effort to prop up this stock market through year's end. I'm not saying it's going to happen. There will be an effort, because again, the higher the share prices go, the more money CEOs get. So what I'm trying to get at, and it's pretty easy to see, is the middle class is again on the losing end of this. And it's unbelievable, and they will remain on the losing end of however this plays out. Look, since the inception of the middle class has been kind of a slave class, like we're back on the plantation. You know what I mean? It's literally the truth. The middle class greases the wheels for those in the upper echelon of society. The people that are on the bottom, very sadly, they're stuck. And we support them as well. So the middle class is the slave class of the ruling class. I mean, the middle class, as you should be well aware of, it's kind of a new phenomenon. We always had a two-tier society, and I think that's where we're going back into here, the haves and the have-nots. So, with that said, with the easy money that's going to continue to pour into this market here, that's what our president wants, that's what the Federal Reserve will be doing. Again, they are massively, massively, massively behind the curve. Candidate Trump said this during the campaign. So this is not out of Gregory Mannarino's mouth. This is coming out of candidate Trump's mouth, who's a different guy than the president. It seems to me like there is some kind of a thing going on here, again, to keep stocks elevated, to keep cash moving into the stock market, because let's face it, it's the wealthy that are really benefiting from this bubble that has been created in the stock market, and it's the middle class that always gets left holding the bag once this corrects to fair value. It'll never change. And remember, people who have the general types of investments like 401k plans, they only make money if stocks go up. You understand? More money is made faster when the market drops. And I'm not talking about what we've seen over the past month or so. This is nothing out of the ordinary to me. But I'm talking about when we get a real drop, like 2008 dot-com bubble, those kind of stuff. More money is made faster when those events happen than when stocks just go up slowly, 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 slowly. It's like, it's an incredible thing. But that's really the truth. It's the phenomenon that it's a fleecing mechanism for the slave class, also known as the middle class. Now, you can sit here again and talk about a reset. You can sit here again and talk about a meltdown. But what does it really mean? It means the middle class loses. In any way you want to cut the freaking pie, whether it's a currency reset and the dollars you hold lose their value overnight, how is that going to play out good for the middle class? Because I can promise you the rich are already positioned for this. How? By holding hard assets, and they will be the first ones out the door when all of this melts down. It's always the middle class who's left there holding the bag. Like I said, the last one out the door is always the middle class. This mechanism, the way this is being set up right now by world leaders, every single one, colluding with their world central banks, is a wealth transfer mechanism. Look, our president is not stupid. World leaders may seem stupid, but they're not. They understand that, again, you can't fix this. Any way you want to look at it, any way you want to cut it, it cannot be fixed. And it seems like they're pushing us into the wall at hypersonic Mach speed, whatever the hell that is. But that's what it looks like is going on here. When we hit that wall, and we're going to hit it at one point here, the middle class will be decimated, absolutely decimated. Not only will it be decimated, there's going to be warring in the streets outside of your house. But again, it's a resource issue, people. When those dollars in your pocket become reset to whatever they are, or we melt down, because the debt bubble is the biggest threat to mankind, period. Greater than a nuclear exchange. That is the truth. When the debt bubble bursts, the currency it turns into confetti. We get a credit freeze again, cash is unavailable, no transactions, businesses shut down, Great Depression like you've never seen before. That's where we are marching. So you have to wonder, why is our president so concerned with inflating the stock market? I personally think because he realizes that this cannot be fixed. And those on the upper end of the echelon of society are going to benefit from this, while the middle class, the slave class, gets destroyed. There's no way out. And not only is the middle class going to be destroyed, there's going to be a massive global loss of life. That's the truth. We have borrowed from the future to sustain where we are, and we need to do this in greater and greater amounts. This is why debts and deficits continue to explode to the upside with no possible end in sight, without a complete and total meltdown of the system. The system is debt-based, which means it demands that debt is borrowed from the future in greater and greater amounts, unrelenting, in perpetuity, can't stop. Our president knows this. He is well aware of this fact. That is why he is inflating the stock market, making sure it stays inflated. The upper echelon of society will benefit here, people. The rest of us are going to be in a lot of trouble here. There's no saving grace at all coming for you if you're in the middle class. If you're in the middle class, you need to be very, very afraid of the environment that we are in. Open your eyes. Please stop with Republican Party, Democrat Party. This is to keep you blind, okay? Put that aside. Think of the concepts that I've gone over here. Does any of this make sense to you? If it doesn't make sense to you, I don't know what to tell you. But just look back on history if you want to see the future. That is the truth. The middle class always loses. It will never stop. You have to look at the bigger picture here and understand what is happening, what is going on around you. Take it all in, process it, think about it, write these things down, and you, I believe, will come out with a very clear picture of what is being set up here. It's simply this: a wealth transfer unlike anything that has ever been witnessed in the history of the world, and a complete and utter destruction of the middle class on a global scale. People, we're going back to a feudal system. Please understand what I'm saying, and don't put your faith in any one person or any one party. Put the faith in yourself and in whatever God you worship. That's the truth. You'll come out a lot better. But understand again, it's just so important to look at these concepts and understand where we're going. The environment we are in is not sustainable. World central banks have to continue to inflate. They can't stop. And again, it's just look at what's going on. Debts and deficits continue to explode. They don't stop here. And we just, look what happened. Look at the news we got today. The trade deficit with China just hit a record high despite tariffs. Not working. It's not working. You're being misled. We're not winning the trade war. They want you to believe. Look, the public always gets strung along by their politicians. Look back on history again. Without exception, this is the truth. So understanding where we are in this cycle of things will really allow you to put a perspective on what's going on here, and just disconnect yourself from politics, and you will be able to think. If you keep yourself locked into that, you'll be blind. You will be absolutely blinded. Anyway, with that said, people, it's Friday. And I mean that. I love all of you. It's really the truth. And I'm trying my best to outline this for you. You can understand what's happening here. Okay? So you can be prepared for what's coming. There's no way out. There's no way out. There's no saving grace here. That's it. So with that said, I will see all of you on Sunday, which I'll do a look ahead segment. We'll see how that plays out as well. But people, love each other, care about each other, and be charitable, because that's what's really going to matter in the end. Not Republican, not Democrat, not political party, not money, not the stupid market. It's about you. It's about me. It's about a relationship to each other and the world. That's it. The rest of it, we can't take it with us. So what does it really matter in the grand scheme of things? Anyway, with that said, I'll see you Sunday.